Congratulations. Now that you're approved, we want to give you an idea of the next step, what to expect. Being there's new construction, it's a little bit different. So you've been approved. The processor will be reaching out to you within the next 5 business days, just letting you know what the underwriter might have requested for you. So not all the items are needed immediately. Some things will be a bank statement and a pay stub within 30 days of closing. So just know you're a little bit out. We might have to update some things. We would definitely have to update pay stubs, definitely have to update bank statements as we get a little bit further down the line. Earnest money, any earnest money that you pay, we have to verify that the check is cleared, and we have to have a bank statement for that month showing that so that we can give you credit for it on the settlement statement at closing. So if you write checks throughout the process, make sure you update us on any changes to sales price, any changes to any additional upgrades or things that you might have paid for so that you get credit for all that at closing. Again, being that there's a little bit of time gap before the house is ready, then just know that, again, we might be repeating with some of the things that we need, but just because underwriting guidelines do require them to be recent at closing. And so we could need bank statements throughout the process for every month if you do write earnest money checks or builder deposits throughout that process. The other thing to know with bank statements is large deposits. So we have to document and source all money that's in your account. So if you own businesses or if you make a lot of deposits, just know that we're going to ask questions about where they came from. And 99.9% of the time, we actually have to document it as well. So we're going to need to see where that source came. If you sold something, we got to have a bill of sale and evidence that you sold it. If you sold a home, we've got to have the settlement statement. So just kind of give you an idea. Know that we will be documenting, and we'll have to verify wherever your down payment's coming from. We're going to ask questions on your bank statement. And I know that gets frustrating, so please be patient, and hopefully knowing this up front will make you more conscious of deposits and keeping documentation, but it will be requested and required from you. Interest rates, to talk a little bit about interest rates. So you're not locked in at this time. Because we're a little bit out. Typically, we recommend people not even consider locking in until the house is dried in, which means there's a roof and walls and that sort of thing. That's a lot of times this means you're within 90 days, just depends on the builder. Typical locks are 30 days to 60 days. The best rate is going to be a 30-day lock, so the shorter the lock period, the better the interest rate. So you have to weigh your tolerance for risk. So it depends on the environment and are rates rising at the time. Is it worth waiting to be within 30 days? Because the 30-day rate will be a little bit lower than a 60-day rate, which would be lower than a 90-day rate. So all else being equal, if you felt like rates are going to be the same, then it's probably worth waiting and seeing once you get a little bit closer to closing. If you were nervous Nelly and felt like rates were really going to shoot up or just wanted that protection, we do have extended locks. So definitely ask me about that, which could protect you 9 months, 12 months, whatever you're looking at. Closing disclosures, when we get a little closer again, you'll get a call. Let us know once we're 30 to 45 days out. We'll probably not order the appraisal until we're a little bit closer, the house is further along, and then we'll start updating things. Credit report. Credit reports are only good for 120 days. All right, so if your build is longer than that, do know that we will have to update your credit report as we get closer to closing. So please make sure that your credit stays in good shape. Don't charge up all your credit cards, buying light fixtures and everything, and then 30 days out we have to repull and your credit score drop, because that will affect your interest rate. So do make sure you keep your credit in good standing, because again, credit reports are good for 120 days. After that, we do have to update the credit report. Closing disclosure, we'll talk about that as we get a little bit closer. CDs have to go out right before the closing. So the final figure for needed at closing, you really won't have until you're about 3 to 5 days outside of closing. And we'll talk about wiring. You have to wire your funds to close. Insurance, homeowners insurance, you can set that up anytime. It doesn't become effective until the day of closing, but you'll want to go ahead and set that up at least 30 to 45 days out. Go ahead and set up your homeowners insurance and let us know who you've chosen. Power of attorney, if you're not going to be at closing, if you think it might come up where you might not be there, we can set up a power of attorney in certain instances, and power of attorney will need to be approved. Ask us, when it is approvable. We'll get it approved, then it'll have to be notarized, so it does have to happen in advance. I think that is it. So location, closing is at the attorney's, and you'll be made aware of where to go and what time to show up. either between you and your real estate agent or the builder, y'all establish a closing time that works for everybody. Call me if you have any questions.